transmission has been brought to you by VNYLden.com. And welcome to the Vinyl Den. Xander Ramon here, and I'm not going to lie, this smoke-filled weather is making my allergies act up. So if you're wondering why my voice is scratchy and congested, you know why. My guest today started her pop music career in her early teens. Boy band New Kids on the Block opened for her on tour. Her first album went quadruple platinum and spawned 2 #1 singles in the United States. One of which, her cover of the 1967 Tommy James and the Shondells classic, I Think We're Alone Now, stayed on the U.S. charts for 2 weeks straight. At the age of 16, she became the youngest female artist to earn a #1 album and also the youngest to have 2 back-to-back #1 singles. Her friendship and rivalry with fellow pop star Debbie Gibson was well documented in teen magazines. And later on in her career, the acting bug caught up with her, providing her an opportunity to provide the voice of Judy Jetson and also appear in Sci-Fi's original film Megapython vs. Gatoroid. Please join me in welcoming pop star Tiffany into the Vinyl Den. First things first, how are you today?
Everything is good. Thanks for asking. Out on the road, having a good time.
Our good friend Susie Carr actually told me you don't like to fly?
I don't. It's not my favorite thing to do at all. I stopped flying for a while, but now I'm back flying. I just came back from England, and
nice.
and it's really because of my fans. I mean, they've been seeing the A Million Miles show and a lot of the shows because I've been touring pretty extensively for the last year, and it's really, people writing me or messaging me and saying, I really love to see this show. It's been for forever since you've been to Taiwan or, wherever. And it's kind of touched my heart. So when you have great fans that have been with you over 30 years, you kind of want to stay in that realm of love. And I'm very appreciative. So they are the ones that really have gotten me back on track a little bit, I have to say.
So when's the last time you've toured Seattle?
Oh gosh, it's been a while. I'm on my way there. I'm in San Fran right now, and then I will be doing some rehearsals there and just taking in the city. It's been a while since I've been there, and I have good friends there. So I'm really looking forward to, soaking up the city and also some friend time. And I think that's what I love about the road as well. You can kind of go and do things. And when you fly and you're not driving and you're not in a bus, you really are kind of stuck. But when we take our crew of people and we've got our bus and everything, it's easier, I think.
Kind of weird that you're playing Yakima of all places.
I know. Well, I've never been there. So I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, again, it's a show with me and Deb. It's going to be hysterically fun.
Nice.
We're just 2 girls that have a lot of blast together, and we really do enjoy hanging out and stuff. People always thought there was a rivalry. There's not. We're really good friends, and so we enjoy performing together and having a blast.
Speaking of Deb, who would win in a pop star battle, Deb or Robin Sparkles?
Well, Deb. I got this girl. I think Deb would. She would take it.
So what was it like working with Colby Smulders, who played Robin Sparkles in How I Met Your Mother?
She's lovely, the character, Robin Sparkles, because it really is kind of built around me and Deb a little bit. So we have fun with it.
Now, many of the newer artists these days are actually selling out arenas and clubs, but you actually sold out shopping malls. How did that come into fruition?
Well, I mean, they didn't know what to do with me, truthfully. It really was a matter of, we started off doing stuff in clubs, and it just didn't take. I was too young to really be in a club. So people liked the music, but they couldn't really relate to me. I mean, I wasn't allowed to be in the club too much. So, I think that's when we learned, okay, well, we have to work this a little different. And that's where, the whole idea of the mall tour came in, which I thought was brilliant, really. I mean, it made sense. That's where my friends and family hung out, and that's where my age group hung out.
It's pretty sad that shopping malls are closing left and right now that everything is going internet.
I know. And another thing, I just kind of joined up with a mall company, actually, that is reopening a lot of malls, and and want to get the family factor back in, in a place that's also just a hot spot where you can go and hang out, and people just kind of have a destination again. I do really miss that about the malls. I think it was part of our youth, part of what people did.
I have to agree. It feels like today's youth are just hanging out in parking lots.
Yeah, and I have a son, and he's 25 now, but I never let him do that. That was a no-no.
Yeah, I have to say, I was never really keen into the whole hanging out in parking lots. My thing was video stores.
Yeah, I mean, we've lost that. I mean, I'm born and raised in Norwalk, California, and we had golf and stuff, which was in the Karate Kid movie, and bumper cars and things like that. And I think it's sad that we're closing down a lot of that kind of stuff now.
It's really sad that a lot of these are closing, especially being stuff that you grew up with. But on the other hand, it's also kind of interesting that retro audio is making a big comeback, especially the whole vinyl craze.
Yeah, I mean, well, we just saw a bunch of vinyl trucked down the street the other night. We were all of us, my dad and I, we were all, oh, how could you just do that, But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to see vinyl coming back a little bit.
Speaking of vinyl, I know your first 3 records had vinyl releases, but your current ones don't. Would you ever consider re-releasing those on vinyl?
Well, yeah, I'm not too sure how it all got released. But yeah, I mean, there was vinyl versions of a lot of different B-sides and stuff. And it's always really cool to see the different packaging from different countries, different pictures that they pick, and, just different way they package things. I
agree. It's always good to see different variations of vinyl being released, and it could be like a different country, or maybe they do a special edition and whatnot. Now, you had the opportunity to voice Judy Jetson in the 1990 film, Jetsons the movie. What was that experience like?
Oh, I thought it was a blast. I mean, I love that, sci-fi stuff that we get up to. It's a lot of fun. I'm the sci-fi nerd, so for me, it's awesome if, I can work with the sci-fi family. I'd love to do more, but it's just really a matter of time now that I'm touring. I really don't have the time to take off and do another sci-fi something. So, I mean, hopefully that's like maybe next year. I would really love that, but it's always fun to do voiceover stuff or acting and kind of do the different facets and things that have always interested me. And kind of, I started acting when I was a kid before I even had a record deal. So just to kind of reconnect with that is pretty awesome.
Now, if somebody offered you a ton of money to give up singing and become an actor full time, would you do it?
No, I'm a singer first of all. That's my first love, yeah.
Well, Mark Wahlberg had Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch and decided he was going to focus on acting full time, and look where he is today.
And he's doing quite well with it, I have to say.
I totally agree. Loved Boogie Nights. Now, your third record, 1990's New Inside, you decided to reinvent yourself and actually go for a New Jack Swing type of sound. Unfortunately, the record didn't chart very well. Do you feel that record might have been a little ahead of its time?
Oh, definitely. I think I was ahead of my time completely. From the way I was dressing and trying to cross over, I just don't think that anybody knew how to really do that. And they've definitely gotten better with it. But for sure, my gut instinct was completely right. I mean, I was wearing stuff that everybody's in the videos now wearing. So we were just really ahead. I worked with Japanese stylists and makeup artists, and that's where New Inside kind of came from. Producers out of New York, and just people that I really truly think were way ahead of their time. The Maurice Starr stuff I really never loved on that record, to be honest with you. I loved Maurice, but I didn't think those were his best at all, But the rest of the record, I think, stands, on its own, and I think it was very good for me to experience, to do something different and to grow, whether it was stressful or not, working with different people and kind of, me, who I am.
Now, a few years back, you were doing reality TV. You had a stint on Celebrity Fit Club, but the one that was really eye-catching was Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling. How was that experience?
Fun. I mean, again, knowing the producers and stuff, I was asked to do it, and I thought, yeah, why not? Sounds like a blast. So we did, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So
if Vince McMahon or Triple H called you and asked you to do an angle for WWE with, say, like Charlotte Flair or Sasha Banks, would you do it?
Yeah, I probably would do it again. I'm a tomboy at heart, so I really, really loved it. I thought it was fun.
So if you had to choose one musical genre to stick with for the rest of your career, which one would it be?
Oh, probably the Color Sound album. More bass kind of stuff. That's what I would say.
So more of the alternative rock grunge side?
Oh, totally, yeah, for sure.
Now, I know you've done country music in the past.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, because I started off in country music, I wanted to tell a complete story, so I did an album called Set 2 in Nashville. There's behind the scenes, like, people who have been started careers I probably never mentioned in the beginning. And I just kind of wanted to say thank you to everybody. So, I mean, there really was this whole backstory and past life to me before I got a record deal.
If you could choose one single off of your first album, which one would it be?
Could have been, probably.
I had a feeling that was the one you were going to choose.
Yeah, I think that would be my favorite.
Now, in regards to Could Have Been, I was reading up that apparently your record label and your producer, George Tobin, felt you weren't mature enough to actually perform a song of that stature. How were you able to convince both parties that you could perform the song?
Well, I mean, I think, really it was my producer. He just kept, pushing the label. I mean, really. And he was right. I mean, had great vision for me, and I'm very grateful. Really, I owe my success to him. I mean, obviously there was a label attached, but it really was George behind the scenes that was making it all happen. Speaking
of George Tobin, do you still keep in contact with him?
I do. I talked to George. It was just his birthday, and yeah, everything's great. I mean, we don't really work together professionally, but we do get along, and that's nice. It's a nice place to be, to have a relationship and be friends and respectful. And like I said, he really is the person who started it all for me.
Are there any artists out there that you listen to on a consistent basis?
Well, there's tons of people. Stevie Nicks, of course. She's like my go-to with everything. I adore her. Of course, the Machine, of course. Love Florence and the Machine.
Now, a few years back, you were in a film with Deb, Megapython versus Gatoroid, and it was also put out by the same people who made Sharknado. And would you ever consider doing the next Sharknado sequel if they asked you to do it?
Maybe. I mean, I watched them, and they're a lot of fun. It's possible. I don't know. It would depend on the timing and where I was. And because, like I said, I'm pretty busy on touring until like June of next year. So that's kind of taken over my schedule. But yeah, I mean, I like Sharknado. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I think that about wraps it up here. Tiffany, thank you for joining us on the Vinyl Den. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
Pleasure's been all mine. Take care. And if you want to see Tiffany and Debbie Gibson live, they will be playing the Capitol Theater in Yakima, Washington on Friday, September 8th. It's also hosted by former MTV VJ Downtown Julie Brown. VIP tickets include early entry, 80s candy buffet, 80s snack table, a dessert table, hair crimping station, a photo booth, and a few other surprises. If you want to buy tickets, head on over to capitoltheater.org. Until then, the Vinyl Den is closed.